people. Hi. Never made a speech like this before. Is this gonna come out? All right. Let me start first by saying thank you so much for having me. I'm overwhelmingly flattered to be here and actually really excited to be having this conversation with you guys. I am not entitled to your attention, and I know that, and you don't have to be here, and I think the fact that you are speaks volumes about your character. And I'm excited. I don't know any other way to say it. In light of that, I guess I just want to ask your permission to be candid and kind of speak bluntly and make it maybe a little more informal than we're used to. So is that okay with everybody? Yeah. Is that okay? Those of you who do know me may know me as the actress Kristen Bell. You have seen sort of a series of images about my life, whether it's on Veronica Mars, or whether it's in movies, or whether I'm just that weird, bubbly girl that sometimes appears on talk shows, or you see maybe pictures of me with friends of mine that are also other celebrities, and you kind of have this idea of who I am. Or maybe a very glamorous sort of red carpet thing where I'm wearing weapons disguised as shoes and a dress that I can barely breathe in. But in actuality, I am a girl who is pretty much the epitome of ordinary. I grew up in Detroit, about 10 miles outside of Detroit proper. Do we have some Detroit in the house? Nice. My parents were divorced when I was 2. And they both remarried. My father brought in 2 stepsisters, which I adore. I don't really consider myself from a broken home because I just don't identify like that. I actually considered when my parents remarried that there were more people that loved me. I went to public school from K through 8, and I went to parochial school from 9 through 12. I was always too small to play sports. Some of you may not believe that. I was known as this buff. So when I was 12 years old, I auditioned for my local theater company. And I started doing plays, and I immediately felt this unbelievable sense of community and of belonging, and I loved it. And I was absolutely a theater geek all throughout high school. Very proud of that. And when when the time came to choose a profession, and your counselor at your high school says, well, what do you love to do now? I loved to act, and so I applied to theater school in New York at NYU, which is where I attended, and I knew the risks going in, that the odds were not in my favor, but I took a chance, and I was in the right place at the right time many times. And that's not to say that I didn't work hard, because I did. I worked my tail off to get here and to sort of stay relevant and not just be a flash in the pan as far as my acting is concerned. But I'm very grateful for all of that. And I think that I've been given an extraordinary opportunity. And I understand that with great opportunity also comes great responsibility. I feel like I'm living every little girl's dream. So I am happy to take on the responsibility that goes with that. Am I close enough to the mic? Okay, sorry. I am not an expert in anything. I know a little bit about a lot of stuff, but I'm not an expert on foreign policy, I'm not an expert on women's rights, I'm not an expert on any of these things. What I am is a highlighter. I think I've been given a platform to be able to speak about the issues I love, and that excites me to an unending degree. So I want to share with you guys first a few quotes that have affected me or kind of mean something to me. You may or may not have heard them before. Number 1, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? Whoa. Marianne Williamson, which I could speak for about an hour on that one. The second one, maybe my most favorite. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Eleanor Roosevelt. And last but not least, I am not offended by all the dumb blonde jokes because I know I'm not dumb. I also know I'm not blonde. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Dolly Parton. Now, I have a job where I am paid to be the vessel that expresses other people's ideas. I can actually kind of hide behind their words. Writers write for me, and it is much easier to speak from a character's perspective than it is to speak from your own. And I think I have realized that never more clearly than when I was trying to write something to speak about today. I wrote a speech, and I am increasingly feeling vulnerable even as I talk about this, but I feel like if I say it out loud, how terrified I am actually kind of dissipates. So I would like to read this speech to you now, and here goes. I am going to make a bold statement that may be offensive, or not at all, but I'm going to say it. I believe that women have bigger hearts than men, period. I'm not saying that all men are scumbags, or that I'm burning my bra in protest. I'm saying some well-known things and maybe some things in a new way. Women are famous for their empathy, for their care of children, of animals, of the sick. We are very well known for hurting when others hurt, of being caretakers, and I'm extremely proud of that. Emerging science shows that empathy is one of mankind's key biological traits. It is almost single-handedly responsible for the success of human beings. It's not so much that we are faster or stronger than other animals. In fact, I believe it's been proven that we aren't. It's not even that we're smarter than them. One woman or one man has never done much of anything that's world-changing, but collectively, when we work together, we can do so much. It is our empathy, our ability to identify with one another, to feel each other's pain, to invest in each other's success, and to work together for a common goal that has built every great skyscraper, the printing press, every bridge and metropolis. It is our empathy that makes us strong. And I believe women have a stronger empathy than men. Does anyone want to prove me wrong? Okay. But the truth is, gets us in a lot of trouble. Let me tell you a story about Africa. I have been to 5 African countries in the last 6 months. And in every single country, I keep running across the same situation. Young children seeing a foreign visitor and demanding money. And it's not so much begging as it's kind of just pushy and obnoxious. And initially, I wrote it off as greed. And the more I thought about it, I realized this wasn't their fault at all. Because somewhere in the not so distant past, someone was visiting Africa, probably a very kind-hearted woman, and she was overwhelmed with empathy and pity, and she chose to let the dollar fix that feeling. Therefore, a few years later, of course, when they see a visitor, they're going to assume they're going to be given money. And I was so embarrassed because these beautiful children had been trained to react to visitors this way. They had literally, it was a conditioned behavior, and it was our fault. And at that point, I became increasingly aware of how troublesome it can be when people are overwhelmed by empathy. These kids weren't greedy, they were just doing what they know works. But we need to change that because that does not work. I want to tell you who taught me that. Her name is Jolie Okot. I have been a supporter of Invisible Children for several years now, but last October I got to go to northern Uganda with Jolie. She's an Acholi woman born and raised in northern Uganda, and she is the country director of Invisible Children. She is my hero. And it's not just that she's a strong, brilliant woman who leads a staff of 100, but it's that she rose to the top through hard work and dedication to being smarter and working harder than the other guy. And for it, she is honest to God, changing the face of Uganda for women and for everybody, really. I want to introduce you to Jolie now, and I'd like to show you this video of her spitting some serious truth.
I kind of feel that